Well, after being in early access for almost 6 years, this game is finally coming out. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to our first look at an incredible medieval city builder, a game that really set a lot of precedents for games that we're playing now and blew me out of the water back then and still does today. Welcome aboard, and good to see you all here for our first look at Foundation. Yeah, this game has a lot in common with other games that are bopping off right now, like, for example, Manor Lords. And it's got me excited about all these other wonderful medieval games coming out this year and hopefully in the future. But Foundation is one that literally laid the foundation for a lot of great, beautiful, and incredible looking buildings. If you're a big fan of Tiny Glade, if you're a big fan of Manor Lords, or really like Farthest Frontier and other games like that, Foundation has got it going on. This game, I'm not kidding, and I'm not exaggerating. Building a castle, a manor, a tavern, like a giant monastery like you see on the hill in the background. Incredible in this game. There's so much you can do and so much freedom with very little restrictions, and that's what makes this game great. Today we're going to take a first look at the full release version by building a village from the start, and some of you might actually find me later on the Steam store page. So if you jump over to Steam right now, you'll likely find this video there too. So be sure to say hi there, and be sure to say hi in the future as we live stream more of this game too. Now, as usual, if anybody here would like a key to this game, although I'm not sure if we'll get any or not, if I get additional keys, they all go to you who spam glory to Raptoria down below in the comments section. So get it going and jump on our Discord for more giveaways. Devs are very kind. They oftentimes give us keys, and if we do or don't get one for this game, there's still plenty of opportunities for many other great games coming up this year. Now, the folks over at Foundation are sponsoring this video over on Steam, but not on YouTube, so I'm just going to tell you that it's sponsored on Steam, but I just wanted to put this on my channel as well because I wanted to celebrate 6 long years of playing this game and an incredible upgrade that it's been. Now, the game looks incredibly different. Like, it's really like almost black and white between the early access version, which many of you may have played, and this 1.0 version. So keep in mind that a lot of the game has changed in its appearance. So if you've got Foundation already, it'll look really different. And if you'd like to play the game before you buy it, there is a demo for it as well. So links are all down below in the description. I definitely recommend that you give a try to this demo. And if you like this game, again, other games like Manor Lords are out there too. And this one is certainly one you should absolutely add to your wish list, as well as another one by the name of Austrive. These are all just perfect games that are like really unique in their own way, and yet Foundation does some things that I really wish Manor Lords would do. I've already started a little bit of a city here called Jelenshire here, which is basically a deer town in Czech and English. But I wanted to show you here what it's like to start a new game in this game. First of all, amazing. We have ourselves a map generator, and I think more games absolutely need this, from City Skylines all the way to Manor Lords should have something like this. Now, I'm all for handcrafted maps too, but it's really cool that we can actually build like a coastal map, like a river, or somewhere up in the hills with a couple of lakes. All these sliders allow you to adjust things, and you can slide back and forth. And another thing that's great is if you like the map but you want to make small tweaks to it, it doesn't change the entirety of the map until you hit this button here, randomize seed. So it'll change the seed there. So if you're looking for the perfect river and you really want a very wide river, but then you also want to make sure that it's really, really flat, you can go ahead and do that. And then maybe you wanted to put like a really cool hill or something there for you to be able to build a monastery on or something like that. Then there you go. Something like that can apply to you. So you can put one right up there. And if you're not happy with it, you just keep clicking that randomized seed until you get a much better map layout. So let's say we're going with this one, right? And now we want to pick our rules. This game allows us to play in many different ways. There's the casual, more laid-back experience. There's a challenge mode, creative mode, and a custom mode. And there's lots of options to adjust. So you can almost make the game exactly how you want it. So you can make it a little more difficult. Some people find it to be a little more easy because it's more about money management and trade, especially at the start. So this kind of slows that down and makes it a little more survival-like. But next will be our aspiration, and we can choose one of 4 things. There is a military building aspect to this game too, but keep in mind this allows you to build like a castle or a fort or a manor. Like at Manor Lords, you build like a house with a wall around it, a big guard tower, and some other things, and allows you to train troops, and then you can send those troops out into the world to fight with the king on his quests or crusades, and then they bring back things from those crusades, and thanks from the king for borrowing your troops, you can get money and such like that. There's not the ability to raise an army and then see them on your city map and fight other factions or raiders or anything like that. That maybe is something that could come in the future, but there is a military in this game. There is army raising and training and weapon manufacturing and selling, but it's not like the on-screen Manor Lords type combat that I think we all wanted to see. Regardless of that, there's also the ability to build your own monastery, and you can also, of course, just build a prestigious town that is very prosperous. But you can also kind of do any of those at any time. This relax and play on my own version allows you to kind of, at any moment, take a swing in any of these directions and kind of link up with any of the factions. Like, for example, the people, the king, or the clergy. So that allows you to kind of get a little bit more of their unlocks. They all kind of unlock in a different way. So keep that in mind. And then here is where you make your logo. So you can basically make your shield and then give it a different color and then paint it however you want. That actually looks really cool there. Maybe we'll go with something like a bear here. There you go. Perfect. And we'll go with one. Isn't this like similar to the logo of Bern in Switzerland? Something similar to that. Anyway, once you're done, you click Start Game, and the adventure begins. All right. Again, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so right now to let me know you want to see more of Manor Lords and Foundation and Austria and all these other great games. And do leave a like so more people can find out about all these new games. All right, let's go ahead and start a new game and begin our first jump into Foundation. Let's go. Cool. Now, before we begin, I wanted to show you a little tour of a village that I built in about 3 hours while live streaming before, and just giving you a little peek at what the idea is here. Building, of course, some of your more monumental structures up on a hill certainly looks cool, but you don't have to do that. And some of our tier 1 houses are here for all of our serfs, which we can eventually upgrade to commoners and then civilians, or actually citizens, leaving a large open area here for a potential church. And cutting down tons of trees around us have given us a lot of materials to build this village, and then also, of course, be able to export and import other goods. So very nice. Now, all the pathways in this game, which by the way looks absolutely amazing, a big leap forward from what it used to, with like juniper looking trees here, lots of little flower bushes, and just nice detail that look incredible. Really, like lots of different colors for the landscape and the grasses. Everything blends together very well, and a big leap forward from the early access version. Lots of rocks and things like that. It's got to be praised. Looks really good. But anyway, getting back to it then, we've certainly gotten just a good foothold here of starting to establish some, well, trading partners and then trying to make some more money here. So essentially what the goal is to expand via buying zones by getting bigger and bigger settlements that are more productive, buying more land and then paying taxes to the king, but with that land, of course, making a very big impact on what we can produce. So there's things in this game like, for example, berries and wood and fish and stone. Eventually we can get up to weapons and jewelry and winemaking and more. Well, look here. I wanted to give you a little tour of a city that I've been building for about 3 hours before during the demo, and now it's imported nicely into the full game to where I've started a little village of serfs that have access to a big lake here, gathering fish. There's a large forest that we cut down with room for a big church that we're about to build, and of course people who want to move on into the city and will find homes and build them here in our residential areas that we've set up. Now, we've cut down a lot of trees in order to make planks to make all sorts of different buildings and or to export with our trading partners, and there's a lot of little different industry buildings here, like gathering berries, cutting down trees and gathering timber and making those into planks, and then of course allowing us to build things like what you see up here with our little manor house, our bailiff, and our tax office too. Now, these are buildings that look great and prestigious up on a hill, which, by the way, look at that gorgeous skybox. But we can always put these down in the city, and then we can always build a castle or a monastery or something up here, to which the game has a lot of different resources, from berries to fish and tools. We can farm, we can make bread and flour and all sorts of different things with 3 different types of or levels of citizens. Here we have our homes for serfs, but then they can be upgraded to commoners and then eventually citizens, and they all have different needs that we can supply them. So right now it's pretty simple. They just want to eat fish and berries and have some water, and they live in these homes here. And then eventually we can appoint people to a higher level of citizenship via our bailiff, and then these homes will upgrade, and then we can supply even more things to meet their demands. So very cool stuff. Lots of little resources and things to keep track of. So if you're really into micromanaging resources, this is certainly one for you. But it's not too hard to do if this is something you're trying for the first time. It's very laid back and a very slow game. Typically, I even play on ×3 finding that a little slow for myself, but honestly, it's a very good game to be able to, kind of see unfold. Now, there's also a photo mode for this game too, so boom, right there. If you find something you like, you go ahead and click that, and it'll take a Steam screenshot with the logo there. I hope to have more options for that in the future too, for different ways to maybe adjust the lighting or day-night cycle or whatever. Which, by the way, remind you, there is a day-night cycle here where you can play, well, not necessarily a cycle, but you can set it yourself and play on a rainy evening, a dusky afternoon, beautiful night, or daytime, of course. So all cool. Now there's our objectives on the left side. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but certainly take a look at all the different things that there are in the game. Yeah, there's all sorts of different zoning. This looks very complex for now, but don't worry, I'll walk you through all of this stuff as I try to guide you through the game. Beautification, all sorts of little things to keep eyes on, but don't worry. All right, we're going to go ahead and build a village from scratch and see if we can get as far as this one right now. So let's go build in a completely different map. This time we're going to a river rather than some beautiful lakes with islands, and see what the difference is. Many more bridges, I could assure you. Welcome to Yellenshire. All right, so this is our gorgeous map with a beautiful river, a little island, and of course I have to have myself a hill. If you look closely too, you can see different types of trees here with like fir trees and different types of oak trees and poplars and other types, all kind of mixed together, as well as juniper and other berry bushes and other types of shrubbery. Very, very good looking, I've got to say. Now, the game is going to try to help us with these pop-ups, and I'm going to skip through a lot of this stuff, but I just wanted to make it known that the game does a very good job of showing you quick little video tutorials with a couple of paragraphs on how to get started with some objectives in the lower left corner. And I think that's a great way to do it. And I think this is a great way to start our village right here. What they're asking us to do is to select any of these areas that have some starting resources to start our first village, but we can expand from here and make it even bigger. So these things have, like, for example, stone, wood, and berries there. So we have food and building materials in order to build our village and give them services. But here, I want to build at the foot of the hill that eventually I want to build like a cool castle on, or a monastery or something. So this is something that I fiddled around with for a little bit to get in our editor, the generator, and it looks really good. So another thing you could do too, of course, is save these maps quickly and keep re-rolling and come back to your favorites later. I always create like a library of them, so that's cool. All right, purchasing this territory is free and costs nothing in taxes, so the king's giving this to us for free, which is very nice. All right, first and foremost, they're going to tell us all about how to build, and we're going to do that now, which is the village center where everyone will gather when they come into town, and is always a wise idea to build a market around. We'll go ahead and plop that down maybe around here, and we can always rotate things too and move them around as well. So very helpful. To do this, of course, you just grab that little thingy there and you're good to go. Now, there is no road building in this game. There's no roads. You may have seen roads in our previous map, but our people will basically make the roads themselves by walking around the map. So the more that these folks are walking from the village center to a logging camp, they'll create the pathways themselves by trampling on the grass. And then eventually, if you shut that down or something, the people will stop walking there, and the grass and the land will heal and will look exactly like it does here. So very nice. All right, we have founded the hamlet of Yellenshire. Excellent. Deer Town, basically. All right, what do they want us to do? So somebody's telling us that we should definitely get to work by assigning people to jobs like, for example, a woodcutter, and that is a great piece of advice. We will need wood to build all of our structures, so that's a good place to start. Now, another thing to note in this game is that the longer that your people are assigned to a job, the more proficient they'll become at it, and they'll skill up and level up a little bit, and so they become more proficient and faster at those jobs. So if you assign somebody as for example, a builder for a very long time in this game, then they'll be almost like a master builder and can get things done a lot faster. We're going to go ahead and build our building shed right over here, I think, and maybe we can plop it down. If we hold left Alt, we can do that too, where we rotate, and I'm going to put it as close to this as possible just to keep it in the center of the village, and there we go. Now this one is a free insta-build because it is the building headquarters, your builder's camp. So from here on out, things will have to take a little bit of time to build. So keep that in mind. All right, we're going to assign some workers to this, and this will assign just the 3 nearest workers if we click the plus here, or we can click on whomever we want. We can also rename all the people in the city, so you can absolutely customize people to be your friends, family, pets, whatever, and you can kind of see their skills after a little while, or their desires based on their class. Here we have somebody who's a serf, so they just want water, rustic food, and housing. So not too many needs, and we'll get to that right away. Let's go ahead and assign some people, though, to be our builders. We're going to go ahead and click on, I don't know, Al Walker, I guess. And then we'll start building a lumber camp, too. And that little red blotch around the lumber camp is a area of desirability or undesirability. People don't want to live near that. It's going to be loud and noisy, all that chopping going on all the time. So definitely make sure you keep that away from your town and somewhere where maybe you're going to make a more renewable source of wood. We'll go ahead and put this maybe down by the river a little bit down here. And I don't want to disturb the trees, so we'll try to put it as close to the edge without deleting any trees. Close to $1 without going over, Bob. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now our builder is going to come over and build that as soon as they have, some of the materials that they're grabbing from the center of the town center. So this little wagon here, they're grabbing all that stuff and bringing it over. You can almost see, if you look closely, you can almost see a little path forming behind them. And the more that people walk that way, the more it'll make a path. Now, you can forbid people from walking there, and I'll show you how in a little while, so that way you can make kind of a more windy route, make it look more realistic. If you want people to kind of go on a path that looks like it's, taking elevation or incline into mind, then you can do that. All right, so the lumber camp's going to be built. We're going to speed things up a little bit then, as that's going to be plopped down and built quickly, and then we're going to start cutting down all sorts of trees. All right, we're going to assign anybody and everybody to work here. And, of course, you can choose individually who you want or just go for the nearest people. Now, painting and wood cutting. So now we're going to... Wow, this map looks almost like ours. We're going to start painting an area, approving this area for logging. So you can also do it tree by tree if you want to, or a large area. So if we hold left control, we can scroll wheel and have a huge area or a small one. And we can also now finally do it in a square. So if you wanted to, for example, just cut out a square, you build like a market square, then it literally will be a square. Now we've also unlocked a forestry building here, and that will allow us to replant the trees, and that is something that's important for continuously regenerating wood. Now another thing to be mindful of is not to cut down too much of the forest, because these berry bushes may need that in order to kind of survive. They need like the shade, not direct sunlight. So we're going to go ahead and paint all of this as best as possible. I'm going to try to avoid cutting down all the forest just to leave some. But we're basically going to cut a large area to make room for future residential homes. Now, another thing I like to do is, and I do this often in other games, is just click and then just, drag with WASD. And it kind of helps to make a real perfect square. But now you don't have to do that as much, because you can just use the square tool. So you can just kind of paint to your heart's content there, and it'll be just fine. And then if you want to delete some of this area, you right-click, and then you can save some of those trees, too, to make it look more natural, that kind of thing. So lots of options to make the perfect little logging area, whatever you'd like to do. All right, we'll skip on the forester camp for now. That replants the trees. We're going to go to the gathering hut. As I mentioned before, I don't want to cut down all the trees, and so we'll make sure we leave some here. Let's make sure we've kind of ignored those ones there. Go a little further away from them. And this will make sure we have a plentiful and renewable source of food. We'll put that in the woods a little bit, and the gatherers can come out there. And again, I always like to put my buildings where they're not going to delete a tree, so we'll plop that one right there. If you want to cancel that, you just click that shovel, and it'll cancel the construction. There's other options for that, too. Looking at our villagers, we have 10 people here, whom 6 of them are unemployed, and everybody's very unhappy. And our goal here will be to try to make everybody happy. So we'll do that over a little bit of time. All right, the builder's building the next building, which is the gatherer's hut, and then we'll assign people to that. We'll get our food numbers up ASAP, so let's just assign everybody. Anybody and everybody can work here, and we want them to work quickly in order to provide everybody with food. Very important not to die to death with the lack of food. Definitely make sure you pay attention to that. All right, everybody's coming over to start logging, yep. And they're grabbing their axes, cutting down trees, and bringing those logs back here. Very nice. Everybody works. No one quits. All right, needs and happiness. That's what we're going to focus on next. So now we're going to start painting an area for housing for our people to build their first homes. This is us approving it, almost like in other city builders where you paint a residential area and they're in charge of building their homes. It's the same here too. So let's go ahead and build a beautiful home area down here. And you can already see the first house is snapping in. And this will tell us a little bit more about their needs. So they want things like religion, they want water and food, and those needs will get more complicated as time goes on. And now we've unlocked things like the well and the stone cutter. So we'll be able to make a stone well with the stones that we cut. Alright, very nice. Going to keep on painting. And I'm going to try to paint this as nice as possible. I want to stay away from the beach myself, just so it doesn't build a house right on the beach. And we'll put that there. Okay, current task is to build the well, but we must first build that stone cutter camp, and we have. We'll assign 3 people there quickly to get done. And we'll go to the prosperity menu soon. Alright, there they go. Chop chop, getting all that stuff done, bringing all the stones back, and then putting it into storage. We, I think, need 10 to build that little well, which will happen automatically. Looks like the berry picker is all full, so we can go down to maybe just 1 worker there, and they'll keep up with the demand of our people eventually. Now, we will build market stalls, and we can build a custom market too, so that's a very cool thing that we can use to decorate and make the town look unique. And it's always a wise idea to build multiple markets and marketplaces as you expand your city very, very largely. Check this out. Look at the details on the buildings. Really good stuff, actually. All the buildings in this game have a kind of a screenshot or like a snapshot of what the construction was like over time. It has several different phases, though we don't get to see people actually on scaffolding and things being raised into position. The manor and castles and all the buildings in the game have this little type of, like, you know, rafter support and seeing, like, ladders and scaffolding up and showing phases of construction. It's very cool. Alright, still tasked with building that well, and it looks like we're almost done. People might be bringing over stone, and it looks like the builder just needs to come over and build, and they're probably on their way now. There they are. Oh no, that's an axe. They may be busy with other things too, so let's assign a few more people to work there. And of course, you can always assign and unassign people at the beginning just to get things done quickly. But remember, it's always a good idea to keep somebody assigned to a job the whole time, unless you're really short on workforce, which eventually doesn't become a problem. It becomes a real challenge to fit everybody in. There's people, it's almost like a cemetery. They're just dying to get in. All right, multi-part buildings. Now, this is what makes Foundation special. Imagine this. You could actually put all these pieces together and build a large marketplace this way. And just imagine doing this with like a monastery or a cathedral or like a military building where you're building the walls and the defenses separately, but yet all together. It's a lot of little building pieces put together. That's outstanding. All right, let's put down a market stall and feed our people. Let's do that here. We'll build a nice market that goes this way. And we'll put a little market cloth above that too. Excellent. Now when that's done, we'll have to assign berries to that and also a worker. So keep in mind that you do assign it a food that you want to be sold to the people. Otherwise, they're never going to get it. 20% though on the happiness. It's going up. They've got some homes. That's good. And more construction going on. Hey, and look at this. They've kind of built these wonderful little streets. Very cool. As they travel on these streets here, it'll make the roads, and you can see them right here between the stone camp. Nice. Ah, yes. Looks like we can also do painting with this building as well. There's a tool down here, the paintbrush, to paint via this option, but there's also a building-specific option too. So if you click on that, you can see... We're now a village, and we've unlocked Lord and Lady status. Excellent. So yeah, you can see that we can paint this to do extraction. But if we click on this building again, it should actually be green. Oh, I guess it's a dark blue. I thought it was kind of a more green color. Anyway, this is us painting where we want trees to be replanted. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that they definitely replant on this left side here. And that will provide hardy trees for the workers to continuously cut down from the logging camp. Go ahead and assign somebody to work there. Beautiful. Okay. And the well is done, so now we must build that village market, which is done. Then we must assign somebody to work there. And you can always come back to edit a building too if you just build a building quickly to get it done or aren't fully unlocking all the things yet. You can always come back later and add additional things to a church or a manor and make it larger or smaller or do whatever you want, move it around. And it's a much more effective system than just completely deleting something. I would like to see a blueprinting system in this game, but I haven't seen one yet. I'm not sure if there's one there or not. But it would be very cool to be able to build a church in one map and then carry it over to the other, especially since things can be quite complex. Go ahead and also make sure that they're selling berries at the food stall. That's very important. Okay, so now we need to raise the happiness of the villagers to 75. That'll happen naturally now that they have homes, water, and food, and they can keep on trucking. Wow. Things look really nice here. So there goes the market stall coming and picking up some of the berries and putting them up for sale. Well done. Okay, let's keep on going. Oh, and happiness is 50. They probably want us to be a little higher than that. Oh, it says here, raise the happiness of your village to 75. Oh, my mistake. It's got to be 75 out of 50. There we go. Oh, it's going to go up no matter what. Okay, I'll see you when we hit 75. 73, about to hit 75, and there she goes. Job done. Ooh, looks like we got a lot of logs here. Or not a lot of logs. Storage full. 51 out of 50. Oh, that's weird. There should be like a large pile of logs here in this little holding area, but it doesn't look like it, so that's strange. But yeah, we did complete that goal, so on to the next one. Profiting from trade. So now it's time to build a warehouse and start trading with the neighbors and opening up a trade route. We'll be able to unlock new things in the prosperity progression menu, so let's go do that. So we're definitely unlocking new stuff by, reaching goals, and now we're going to unlock more by spending gold. Okay, new building available. That's the sawmill, by the way, so that's cool. And here at the start, we have the common path. This is like the way of the people that everybody gets, no matter what playthrough you go with, everybody will be able to unlock these for you. It'll just take gold for it. But again, there's other unlocks that we'll see in a little bit, so let's go with what they recommend for the storage warehouse. And we will do the fishing dock and some other things later, too. Okay, let's build that warehouse as they instructed. There it is. And I think we'll build that close to the industrial-like area. And I'm going to try to put that near here. Get everything down by the river. Well, let's build it like this. Actually, looks like there's more entry points that way. Sometimes I can't decide on how I want to place a building. That's totally fine. Take your time. Do it your way. Alright, that's going to be built, and then we want to start producing planks, so we'll need a sawmill for that. We'll plop down the sawmill too. So all these buildings here are all related to wood. Even the warehouse is related to it because it can store additional logs and also planks, and it can also trade those goods with traders who come in. Nice. Okay, well, we want more building going on, and this here allows us to recruit more people whenever they show up. Oh, we've got full builders. When people show up, you can click on those, and they'll be recruited into your village. Having a high level of immigration is important. It stops bottlenecks of you wanting to build a big building, but not being able to do it because you don't have enough immigrants. You want people coming to your lands to help settle and colonize people of your realm, but yet a new city in the realm. So keep them motivated. All right, there goes the warehouse. And there goes the sawmill. And also I'm trying to think, do trees regrow on their own? I can't remember if a forest will, if you knock down a couple of trees. I think the trees will return very slowly over time. But if not, that's the whole role of the forester. Okay, let's go ahead and start turning some of these logs into planks. Got 2 people free right now. Looks like we're going to need some sufficient labor here shortly. We'll take a couple of the builders away. They're on a sign. They're fine. Excellent. All right, let's build a warehouse right there. Now, we can also make these a higher or lower priority, so if you want to build your warehouse near your monument before you build it, then you can make sure that this is built first before your monument starts, so you can have all the materials on site, or at least very close for the working crews who might be there. Always a good idea to try to build one of these before you build like a monolithic structure. The manor isn't really one if you keep it close, but everything else bigger than that certainly is. Oh, they're building it now. Check that out. Looks real nice. Now, this game's also a little bit like Frostpunk in a way where the different types of events will pop up and you have a decision to make, and sometimes good things can happen and sometimes bad things can happen. It's all kind of RNG, so keep that in mind as you play. More people moving in. Okay, stonecutters are good. And this landscape is gorgeous. Same with the music too. It's very laid back and very chill, yet very involved at the same time, and has a lot to do with micromanaging if you'd like, or just painting a whole area and seeing what happens. So you can do the best of both worlds simultaneously in this game. Very cool. Let's see. A worker is bringing planks right now, so that's what we're waiting for. So we have to wait until everything's carried over one by one. And it looks like everything that needed to be delivered is, and now they're just building it now. And it's done. Okay, let's assign somebody to work there. Let's assign a resource of planks. And now they want us to open the royal book and be able to start trading with people. Unlock a trade route. There's our logo. Very nice. Okay, time to talk trade. So Northbury is always a good city to start with. They have a very similar logo to ours. Interesting. I think they're copying me. Anyway, they'll buy planks from us for $1. That's a good start. And a few other things that we might have access to, but we'll need right now. In order to open the trade route, we first need to offer a gift of 20 planks to, I don't know, the local commerce, entrepreneurs, whomever, the czars. You know, they need their bribe. Got to grease some palms with some wood. So definitely do that. And while we're here too, I'm going to also allow the warehouse to store stone and wood. That way we always have it on hand. There should never be a reason why it's not in one place, for now, at least. Okay. So now we need 20 logs. And I do believe they have to be in storage. Sometimes you get quests that come in and will say, hey, we want 50 timber, and if you have it right away, you can claim the quest and turn it in, or you can tell them to hold off for a little bit and they'll hang around in your village. So that's nice. All right, we're going to allow the sale now of goods from our town. We first needed to have some delivered. Now is the time to trade. Where is that trading item? There we are, resources. And we'll sell all above 20. We want to keep some. Okay. We'll have to wait until we have 20 and unlock a trade route through the other menu. Alright. Do we have enough? Oh, we have 22 planks now. Perfect. Through the book. We have edicts for effects and privileges too. That's new. I don't remember seeing that before. That's a cool new menu. And there we are, planks 20. That's what we wanted to do. But now we also want to go back into that book after paying the initial startup fee. Go back to resources under this first green tab and then tell them that they can take anything above 20. So everything above 20 it says. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and make it 25. Oh, not 250. 25 will do, Chief. 25 will do. Okay, what's next? Allow the sale of planks from the Trade Resources tab. Okay. Now we need to allow trade. Ah, there we go. Alright. Trade route complete. What's next? Seems to be always a complaint with the sawmill never gets enough wood, so you might want to build one for your building projects out of logs and one out of building projects for 2x4s and other pieces of plank wood. Okay, advice on the manor house. Let's put this idea into practice. We're going to build a big old manor house now. And our first monument. Look at this. This is great. This is going to be an awesome video showing you the main hub building that we have to put down first, and then some decorations to gather additional prestige for it. So the more you add decor, the more pride and time you put into it, the better the reward. It kind of reminds me of building a station in like Planet Coaster or Parkitect, where it's like, yeah, you build a cool ride, but people certainly want to see some cool scenery too while they're looking at it. So you should probably do that for your rat house and other things like that. In this case, it's a manor. Look at that. Cool. All right, and we've unlocked a lot of building parts for the market. Very nice. Okay, so now we're going to build that manor house, and I want to put it up here. I think that'd be really cool. We'll have to build towards that, and we can now finally buy some territory, so we could expand from where we're crunched up against the little hillside here, or I guess the river and the hillside. Going to go ahead and purchase territory here, and we'll also have to start paying 5 a month here, but it'll be worth it. Common path, tier 2 reached. Good, now we can do some stuff related to that as well. Alright, now we're going to start getting crazy. I'm going to start cutting down all the trees up here. I'm going to just ask them to cut everything. And this is room for our potential military base, lookout, castle, lair, whatever you want to call it. Leave some of those trees. Excellent. And now we'll have to assign some tools here. They want us to buy some tools. Let's see. Trade route, I think. We need to set a minimum. Bum, 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 bum. We'll set a minimum of 30. Good. Alright, now we need to acquire a manor house in the progression menu. And that's under labor, the manor house. But you can see we could also build a castle. We could also build a monastery. Those are the 3 big draws. Like government, religion, and like military power. And look at all the upgrades and unlocks for all that stuff too. And there may even be more subcategories here for some of these. Like for example, if we click on the lumber camp improvement, we unlock all that stuff there with just one upgrade. So it means that we can do more logging with like increased percentage and increased numbers of workers. So, okay, let's go with the manor house. That's good. Perfect. And now we shall build our manor. But let's get some people recruited here and clear the way to the top. So we're going to take a little bit of time to cut all these trees up at the top and make a way for the manor to thrive and flourish. Also going to build some logging camps here because it'll be easier if they're closer. Okay, a little bit of a status update. I've opted for something a little different here. I wanted them to kind of cut a path into the woods, cut out a large area for our manor, and then cut out an area to go over here too. So we're going to continue to do that. Meanwhile, we've continued to trade with our partners and make some more money and brought in a lot more people too, so we should be able to get a lot more done as I built more things to do those things. So we've doubled down on our little lumber mills and stuff here. And as I had mentioned before, under the progression menu, we can also improve storage, and we can also improve logging by, getting those improvements that cost just a few materials. So, for example, the lumber camp improvement, we could add some more, limbing posts to that, and that'll increase the amount of workers, or storage too, so that way these buildings don't have to be as emptied as frequently. But we'll continue to just keep people employed, and that's probably going to be our best weapon for now, is just to make sure we build a bunch of cheap buildings all at once. And we'll work on optimization permanently a little bit later. But so far so good. The village expanding up here and down here too, and it looks really good. Wait until these go to our tier 2 and tier 3 homes. That's just going to be amazing. Hold on, who is this guy? Wow, look at this jerk building his home right in the middle of the highway. Who is this guy? Well, somebody that I probably approved to do that. All right, my bad. Yeah. So sometimes it pays to be a little, I guess, protective with your residential layouts. Otherwise, the serfs get a little excited. So, all right, let's finish up that manor, shall we? Finally, after all this time to show you the best part of the game, at least in my opinion. All right, so it's time to build a monument. That's the manor house, and it's an administration building that has a few parts: the Great Hall, the tax office, and then there's also going to be a bailiff's office that will unlock. So we're going to start with the Great Hall, which we can design out of all these little bits and pieces, which we can unlock even more later in the game, and come back and redecorate, redesign, edit, and do much more. First of all, take a look at all the effort we put in to try to clear this forest. I was trying to speed things up as we have a lot of materials to store, so I've been taking all the logs and wood and putting them into these warehouses here, and we've even been building another sawmill to take advantage of all of that extra wood. Now that's good, because we can make extra money off of that with our trade partners. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So at the top of the hill here, we're going to start our manor, and everything else that we don't use to build this thing will go towards money for other things too. So let's start with our hall. Now you can see the border there where it's just on the edge, so we can't build it like near the coastline or whatever of the lake, but we can do that later. We can clear that land out and move things, whatever. It's not a big deal. I'm going to start by putting this building down right about here, and we're going to try to find relatively flat land, but it'll look cool up on a hill like this. Now remember, we can delete trees and things like that, so we don't need to cut it all down, but it's a really wise idea to make sure you cut everything down, because it'll save you a lot of money. Or rather, a lot of materials. And that could also translate into money too. So look at that. We can actually extend this thing super, super high if we want to, and make a crazy cool manor. The longer and bigger that we make all this stuff, the kind of more materials that it'll take and more time it'll take to build. We can actually put something like this together, where we put a home within the home, that kind of thing, and we can stick it together like that, or we can add it towards the end. There's auto snapping. Churches are built this way too, and same with a few other buildings like the tax office if we want to, or we could add it right onto this building. Maybe we'll add a simple passageway to the side, which could be an area for like a horse to be parked or something like that. We could also put a wonderful little tower in there. This one made more of stone, it looks like, at the base, where we could attach it directly to the building like this, or we can kind of leave it out on the side of the building a little bit more like that. Either way, it looks really good, so I think we'll go maybe a little bit more on the inside there and shrink it down just a little bit, and yeah, that looks good. Okay, and now one thing I hope we could do in the future is maybe change where windows are. You can see this window here gets cut off on the inside, but you can of course rotate and make it as perfect as possible, and try to hide those things. This looks a little bit better, so we'll go with that. We can throw down a chimney, so we can put a heavy chimney as they call it. We'll put a short chimney there, maybe on the back side of the house. We're also going to need a manor entrance, so we can put that on the front side if we'd like, which might be a good idea. And we'll also have a spot for a visitor location for like a horseback messenger to arrive and give us the news of the king needing this and that and whatnot. Okay, we can put down additional buildings like the boudoir, but we can also, of course, turn this into a tax office too. So we can add additional attachments to this building to make it like the tax office within the house if we want to. So for now, this seems to be pretty good. I think we'll go with this. You can see down here how many materials it will take, tools, and what it'll provide us for maintenance cost and splendor. So the bigger and more advanced a building is, the more essential points you'll get with another faction for that. So cool stuff. We also, I think, might need to build this miner tower too. Maybe. Anyway, let's go with that. And boom, it is locked in. So now they're constructing that. I'm going to add a tax office onto this now. So we're changing the designation. Everything you see here now is part of the Great Hall, which is about giving our peasants like a kind of a better life by becoming citizens and whatnot. But here we're going to make a tax office onto the side, and we'll probably make like a little round tower there. We'll make it out of a different material, and we can do something like that. So it looks nice, like a West Wing type thing. So very cool. We can even put down a weather vane if we want to. We can come back and modify all this stuff later. But this will allow us to tax our citizens and get some more money, and is a very important building too, because otherwise we can't really grow our city. So maybe we'll do something like that. And boy, that looks nice. It really does. We could even add another door to this too, or maybe out the side like that. And yeah, within a few seconds, without even trying, I've ended up making something that will look beautiful. Now, we're also going to put a bailiff's office down too, and that will require fortifications, but we don't have to make that part of the house up here. We could always add the tax office to the bailiff's office and put it down here, or something like that. The bailiff, kind of like the sheriff, kind of like the mayor, kind of like a judge, a mix of all those things, and yeah, very important person to have in your town. We're going to add a few more builders here too. I built another builder's workshop up here, which, by the way, you can rename names of buildings. If you want to call something, you know, like Lumberjack East or West or whatever, you can find it a little bit easier for management purposes. You can even rename your manor if you want to, and recall your Great Hall to Grand Hall or something like that. Whatever, Applebee's, whatever you want to call it. Go right ahead. Now look at this. I've also made a winding path up here. I wanted our people not to walk on the plants and make it look like they were kind of walking around on an easier path that was easier to traverse, and so these plants grew around where they were walking, not that they were walking around them. So it kind of looks like this is an easier route for them to walk, and because of that, plants are growing where they're not walking. But I just told them not to walk that way. So all the restrictions on where they can walk kind of made a more interesting path rather than going straight up the hill like that. So it looks pretty cool, and it does seem to be rather believable for a more traversable path. All right, more people coming into the city, and we'll take a look at what the manor will look like when it's done in a couple of different phases here. So this is phase one. They're delivering all the materials. You can see carts here, and planks and bricks and stones and yeah, all sorts of plotting and planning and material delivery. And then you can see how much they need to deliver. So they've already got 70 out of 115, 18 out of 62, well, that's planks, 18 out of 62 on stone, and 0 out of 19 tools. So it'll take a little bit of time. And then the same with the tax office. That's separate too. 0 out of 37, 0 out of 21, 0 out of 15. And we'll be able to have some more tax collectors here as time goes on. The bigger the building, the more tax collectors we can have, and the more money we will make. And that's going to be important to us because obviously we're paying taxes on this land that we bought. So we're already at a +3, give or take, you know, depending on what we happen to sell for planks. But we're going to get more exports and more taxes, baby. Let's go. Hey, look at that. Looks nice. Ooh, look at that. I like that. Now, later on, we could build stone walls, and we can make the manor really look gorgeous with additional unlocks and over time. So keep in mind that you may always want to keep extra room for your manor to expand and give it lots of room to make it look really cool. Some people have even made like hedge mazes and things like that. So it's certainly a thing that you can really decorate to a very high degree. Okay, let's go ahead and make a path there. And look, you can see more stone up here too, so we can start mining stone. I believe some of this might also be iron and other minerals, maybe. So it's a good idea to possibly get rid of the little mine down here and move it up the hill so we can get more space for residential homes. But we've certainly added quite a few homes, haven't we? And we could add even more up to the top of the hill here once we're done, as these guys are still cutting wood. Lots of people employed in logging. Crazy amount of people. But all those materials are starting to go right into the house, so it's not going to be long now. Let's see what happens when it's done. The hall is complete, and now the tax office is getting added onto the side of it. People are already starting to come and offer our opportunities to our little city, and it's getting more amazing by the moment. People even walking through the little archway there. That's kind of cool. So we can continue to add on to this. We can add little guest rooms and guest houses and whatnot to make it look cooler and add to our splendor. And then, of course, we unlock more things through the progression tab this way. So we're earning these different currencies like splendor, kingdom splendor, and clergy splendor. That one, the first one's labor, and then also prosperity. So as we proceed through the game, we unlock all these different things, and some of these unlocks do provide quite a few different things. Like they're very detailed. So under kingdom, of course, we have fortifications. We have the ability to build like a large fortress. We have castle walls and what looks to be even maybe like siege equipment or something, or I don't know, Anyway, long story short, Court of Heroes is the last thing to build there, and over here under the clergy we could build a like a monastery, and then all the way down to a massive church, almost like a cathedral. And then here we have the belfry and like different types of drinking taxes. Wow, taxes is what we unlock for labor. Awesome. That's all they get. Oh boy, that is interesting. Oh, we get bridges too, so that will be what we unlock to get across the river. And those are cool, by the way. We could build bridges out of wood and then eventually stone, and they will look real pretty, and is a perfect opportunity to get across from here to here, and then we can get to other parts of the map. Other types of quests are coming in now. They want us to improve trade relations with other factions. We want to collect taxes, of course, and then, of course, the game, as it's still guiding us along, we can turn off the guidance at any time. It's called onboarding, so we can turn that off if we're bored of it, and we've already learned enough. That kind of thing. So really cool, and lots of guidance in the game, lots of helpful little things to look at to let you know what you're doing and maybe where you could improve. And then, of course, the probably one of the most important things, coin tendency, to where we have a tendency of going bankrupt. But don't worry, we're going to get that tax office done, and that's where some of those taxes will come in from. So, and also trade, which they're definitely telling us all about. So we need to trade, we need to tax, and we need to basically build in order to prosper, which then will help us to progress to then do everything there is in the game. Very nice. I like it. Certainly a looker, this game. Very, very nice. Looks much better, plays much better, and it's here, finally, in 1.0. Well, that is all the time I have today for our first look and some brief overviews of the features of Foundation. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link for it is down below in the description. If you're watching on Steam, again, remember to download the Steam demo and give it a try today, as it is out. And, well, it's been out for a while in early access, and now it's finally 1.0. All those features, really, truly breathtaking. An incredible game, and I'm happy to say that it's finally out. And I can't wait to see what the developers do next with it. All right, well, that is all for today. Thank you very much for dropping by and saying hi, and I hope to see you all next time on the channel for more. Make sure you subscribe over on YouTube. Just search for Raptoria and Foundation, and you should see where this game began years ago and all future videos and live streams going forward. Thanks again for all your support. Thanks for checking out the game, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everyone.